Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. It's great to have you on the show once again. Our first guest today is a gentleman who has written a book for children titled The Lost Little Masquerade, Lolade Adewuyi. One of the things you'll quickly notice if you have had to try or if you have tried to get books for kids in Nigeria is there is not much content for Nigerian children. It's such a big problem. A lot of the books that our children read are foreign books, foreign content, foreign culture. And it's not like they're bad, but Nigerian children need to understand Nigerian stories, Nigerian culture, Nigerian history, Nigerian context. Very important. So we're very excited when we see, we're always excited when we see authors who write things like this. But let's get to know Lolade a bit more, and then we go into an interview we had with him when he joined us via Skype. Enjoy this.
Lolade Adewuyi is a German-based journalist and writer who holds BA and MA degrees in English Studies and Literature from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and the University of Lagos. Lolade's career as a sports journalist has seen him cover 3 FIFA World Cups and sporting events around the world. Lolade is the author of The Lost Little Masquerade, which explores the beautiful Eyo culture of Lagos, West Africa's most vibrant city in all of its glory.
Lolade, thank you for joining us on Channel's Book Club. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
How is Berlin? Must be very cold now.
Yes, we are in the middle of winter and it gets very cold. Sometimes you feel some rise in temperature and it gets comfortable, but we're managing.
Great, great. And how is COVID? I mean, Germany has been badly hit with COVID-19. It's all over the world anyway, but certainly some countries have been worse off than others.
Indeed, the second wave has been much tougher than the first time last year. So we're all trying to protect ourselves and protect other members of family and friends, you know. So we're in the second lockdown now and until February. Yes.
Great, great, great. It's great to know that. It's great to know that. And congratulations, The Lost Little Masquerade. This is your first published book. I know you've written for many years, published articles and so on, but I guess it's different when you have a book published, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. It is, interesting to have your own book, to have your name on it, your ideas go out into the world as a sole, a writer and a published writer. I've worked as a journalist for more than 16 years. Written countless number of articles in magazines in Nigeria and abroad. But, having your own book is really interesting and it's a new experience for me.
Great, fantastic, fantastic. Now, I like there are so many sides, so many angles, so many issues to consider when one looks at your book. But what inspired it? I have a very good guess, but I would like to hear from you. What inspired this particular book?
So The Lost Little Masquerade came about during the first lockdown last year, 2020. It started from me telling stories to my 6-year-old daughter about my life and things I've experienced. And because we told folk stories and then we ran out of folk stories and we couldn't go to the library to get new books. And so I had to start digging into life events. And she was always excited to hear something different, something new. So I then stumbled on this old story from covering the Ayo Festival in 2009. I was a correspondent based in Ghana and came to Lagos for a weekend, and it was taking place, and I covered it and ran into a little Ayo boy who was lost at the festival at Tafawa Balewa Square, and so this memory came back during the lockdown in April, and so I told my daughter the story, and we decided to then put it into writing and also get it illustrated into a children's book. The illustrations are made by my very good friend Abolo Eshubayo, who is a painter and sculptor. He's famous for making the Fela statue used to be at Allen roundabout, but now at Toyin in Ikeja.
Now, the backdrop of your book, of your story, is the Eyo Festival. Did you think, before writing this book, that there was a dearth of Nigerian content for children? Was that part of your motivation to use this kind of, backdrop for your story? Telling a child, a child reads your book and definitely learns a lot more about the Eyo Festival, which is an important, cultural thing in Yoruba history, not just Yoruba history, Nigerian history, as a whole. Was that your concern before you wrote this book? I've met a lot of parents who have said, where are Nigerian stories? Where are Nigerian books for children? There seems to be a dearth of such material.
Indeed, we go at least once a week to the library, to the local library here, and you have to see the depth of the collection that the libraries have. Every district and, micro district has a library, which is something positive. And also the books for children are so diverse, from Germany, from the UK, from the US, from Sweden, even Russia. And we never came across any Nigerian books or African stories. Children's books by African authors. So it was one of the things that, to keep my daughter grounded, we would tell stories, folk stories, sing folk songs, Yoruba songs, and, to ensure that even though we are living in a new country, in a different country, we are who we are. We have a heritage, we have a culture, and these stories are from home. And she's always loved these stories. So the Lost Little Masquerade came about as a way of also letting her know, okay, we can also make our stories into books, So it was really important that I put it down, and she loves it. She knows every word in the book, and as well as many other books that she's had to reread over and over, because we can't go into the libraries now, again, because the second lockdown is closed everything down. So the Lost Little Masquerade is a cultural experience, and I hope parents can engage it with their children, and especially Nigerian parents, African parents, see culture on a page, not just the fairy tale story, but the cultural story that shows our culture, and very colorful images, by Shobayo. So it's, for me, a packaged culture in a mini package.
You mentioned that you actually experienced this story. Yeah. So, by the way, perhaps you might use this question to get the viewer more familiar with the story of this book. You actually had an experience at the Eyo Festival that led to the story, that is in the Lost Little Masquerade, isn't it?
Yes, I was a correspondent for Tell magazine in the 2000s, early 2000s, yeah. And So I was a correspondent based in Ghana, Accra, Ghana. I was a country correspondent. So I came to Lagos during the weekend of the Ayo Festival in 2009. It was my first experience of the Ayo Festival. And while covering it, reporting and making images, I at the end of the celebration, when everything had, the crowd had come into the stands and were mingling with the Ayo and all, a little boy in his your attire walked up to me, and maybe because he saw that I had a camera and I could be a journalist and trusted, asked for my help, that he had missed his group, his family, and if I could help him find his brother. And so we walked around Tafawa Balewa Square looking for someone who could help him. And so I helped him find his brother. But so now, almost 12 years later, I've had to think back on it and write about it for children, and then look at the themes of trust, being lost. Children get lost, regularly, and how do they find their way back home to their family members, and also then cast the policewoman as the rescuer for this little boy, Taju, who gets lost at the Ayo Festival. His first Ayo Festival is 6 years old. He gets lost at the festival after the celebrations and needs to find his father and his group, So it's about finding ourselves in a place in the society, and who can we turn to. The police institution is really powerful, and so we brought in the policewoman to be the rescuer for Taju to find his father.
Simple story, but I noticed how you used that simple story to teach a lot of the aspects of the Ayo Festival. Can you mention a few parts of the Ayo Festival that you sneaked into the story? You dropped, words and terminologies, peculiar to the Ayo Festival here and there for the child. Maybe about three of them or so. Can you just drop a few of them?
Oh, yes. So children definitely learn about what the Okpambata is, which is the staff that Ayo carry, and then the heart, which is the wide-brimmed hat, usually in different colors to represent the different families and clans. They're called the Akete. It's really interesting how this culture is. You don't see. For me, one interesting thing that has emerged for me after this book came out is that some young friends have reached out to say, there's this friend who is in Canada, in Finland now, Kyle. He said he was in a masquerade when he was a little boy, and his grandmother took him around that path to show him how to, because it's only for men really. So, but his grandmother showed him how to get there and how to come back home so that he wouldn't be lost. So this story has resonated with people who been masks themselves, and then but it should be able to resonate with young people, with children. How do I find my way if I ever get lost? Who do I turn to for help? So so many levels, modernity and tradition.
Olade, thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club. We have to wrap things up right now. Thanks, and well done on your book, The Lost Little Masquerade. And we're looking forward to the sequel to this. We want to know what happened next. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
Up next is a reading by a young lady based in Ondo State. Let's get to meet with her, and she will read from her book to us.
Mercy Ifabumuyi is an 18-year-old writer and poet who lives with her parents and twin sister in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. She started writing early and published her first book, Silver Lining, at the age of 16. Apart from her debut publication, she has a number of yet-to-be-published books in her kitty, including a collection of 50 poems titled Light, O Light, Be Thou Stable. As the saying goes, every silver lining has a cloud, and Mercy's story illustrates that. She tells us about her struggles while writing the book and how her twin played a major role in supporting her.
I want to thank God, first of all, because He gave me the idea, He gave me the brain to start at a very early age. God really gave me everything. So He also made my parents support me a lot, because they really supported me, because sometimes maybe I was supposed to be reading. They will find me writing the book in a corner, find me writing things. They supported me. They'll be like, leave her alone, she's writing something. So almost all the time I was always writing. So they were always there for me. My twin sister as well, because most of the time, as a result of my writings and going out, I could not do most of the housework. She was always there. She was always doing it. Sometimes she got my clothes ready. She advised me. She told me that this is a very good talent, that I should try more and do much more harder, and I'm always grateful for her.
I didn't know from the outset when we were young. She always loved to write. So there was this time when she wrote, and she was so young. She was so in primary school, so she gave it to someone to help edit like twice, and he misplaced it. I can remember telling her then that don't worry, it doesn't matter. That was like okay, that was even a baby style of writing, that she shouldn't bother about it. And now that I started writing again, I made sure to tell her that make sure you have your copies, make sure you think deep before writing. I make sure to tell her that okay, don't worry, leave this, I'll do this for you. Just complete that chapter first, or complete that page first. And I told her, okay, you don't know maths. You don't even, or like, okay, you don't even need it. Just make sure you are cool. Just make sure you have it just for having sake. Since you're an like humanity student, even though it's compulsory, but till you have it, don't let it bother you. Make sure you're good at whatever you're doing.
Mercy teams up with her twin once again to run a YouTube channel named The GM Kitchen. The channel helps to showcase their interest in food and drinks, but writing remains Mercy's passion. Her role model as a writer is Nobel Prize winner Professor Wole Soyinka.
He's a very great writer, and anywhere he goes to, people know him. Everywhere around the world, in Nigeria, in the USA, everyone wants to be like him. So he's a real mentor, because his words, whenever they hear his words, it brings respect. So I also want people to hear my name, Ifabumuyi Mercy or Bloomy Mercy. They should think of hope.
The young writer and poet recently got admitted to study international law at Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev, Ukraine. While desirous of being a top-class student, she is constantly committed to self-development as she strives to realize her career dreams. Silver Lining is your classic coming-of-age story, a book about how the dreams of a teenager are fulfilled as she got admitted into a prestigious university in the United States of America despite daunting challenges. And Mercy shares some aspects of the book for us.
Chapter 1. Scent of fresh memories. Joycey and Joy, will you come down and prepare for school? Hurry before I get to you. If I get to you, I will hit you. Oh. My mother's voice was louder than any type of alarm clock. Whenever we hear our mother's voice, we always jump up like antelopes. Because if we don't, you know the African mother's way of spanking on the buttocks. That will be our experience. And the pain is always as if she added hot pepper. It is a specialty. So, we always make sure we are awake before she wakes up. And this was the beginning of progress in our lives. The sounds of birds chirping on the window has taken over my mother's voice. This is because we now wake up whenever you hear the birds chirping. Nature took over spanking. Waking up by 5 every morning, I later realized that it has a lot of advantages. I could read conveniently in the morning, finish my house chores without rushing, and as well do some exercises to keep fit, and lots more before getting ready for school. So, I came to the conclusion that in order to succeed in life, I have to sacrifice my time and put in a lot of effort as well. Joyce, will you please blend this pepper? My mother asked. I agreed. I prepared everything. Just to put on the blender, the light went off. It was shocking. My twin sister shouted, "Up NEPA!" Just for fun. "Ah, Mommy, the light is gone." I told my mom. "What is ha? Abeg, come and use your hands to blend it. I am very busy," and put on the solar. She replied sharply. I dragged myself to blend the peppers with my hands. This is my family's way of life. We might be angry with each other, get beaten or scolded, but no harm is meant. We love each other. My family is a comfortable family, which is why we have a solar system which powers some light bulbs and a small portable TV. Nothing more. We use the solar system mainly for reading our books. So our father expects us to be better than other students and to pass our ordinary level exams without any problem. It was so for Joy, but not for me. It is said that the human brain are not the same. Some people understand things easily, while others are slow in assimilating. I was in the slow category, but this doesn't mean I was not smart. I just needed more time to understand things. As a result of this, I ended up writing my ordinary level exams more than once. My father doesn't understand this principle regarding the brain, neither do my teachers. So I got insulted a lot, and one day, those insults got to me, and I cried bitter tears, but still, I was unbroken. I decided to start again. I decided to study harder. I decided not to give up, because as the saying goes, in a dark cloud, there's always a silver lining.
Welcome back. Last week, I began to explain to us about the developments in the Channel's Book Club Prize for Literature. Every year, we have a national essay competition. We ask senior secondary school students to pick a book, read it, and then write an essay to review the book. But last year, unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to suspend the competition. But we are determined to finish it up. Therefore, by 18th, 19th of February, we'll be having the final for the competition for last year. And by the 23rd of February, we'll be announcing the winners to everybody out there. So if you are one of those who sent in your entry, get ready to get the list of finalists. Once we know the finalists, we are going to call the finalists, invite them in for a virtual final round, and then pick the winners for the competition, which we'll announce by the 23rd of February. So it's very exciting situation for us here. We're excited to resume the competition. And this is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.